Yo patrons, this is Johannes from Noisebud, and I updated Aboh. That's this week little treat for you. And what is Aboh? Some of you already know, of course, because you downloaded it and used it. And thanks for all the nice words, by the way. There's a lot of people liking this plugin, so that makes me glad. This is a plugin to help you with overcompressed material, and you can mostly it works really slow. So and often in EDM or sometimes hip hop, you get those overcompressed tracks. You know, when there's a break and the low end goes away, or it gets less intense. You can clearly hear that the level goes up because there's a compressor just working too hard, or a limiter or something. So the level raises, and in mastering you need to address that, and you probably do that by automation, which is tedious and not that fun. So I made Aboh, and it looks like this. So I'm gonna, first, just for you that already know what this plugin does, I can just talk you through the changes really quick. I added a little text here that says below, and that says above up here when the signal is above, so you can see if it's easier to see, even if you clearly saw that with meter as well, but it's nice. And I moved the curve. It used to be a bar thing up here that you move that, control that with. I realized that isn't that ergonomic. You set the below gain control and the time it takes for the signal to go to below, from below to above, and vice versa, with circle knobs. So I moved down the curve, so you do that with this as well. I also added these little yellow things out here because I realized that if you didn't run a signal through it, you couldn't see the frequency span that you are dialing in. So this is just to make it a little bit easier, so you can see these little yellow dots here. So you can see that. I realized that I probably should have made them black or something, because in the middle here you barely see it because they are bright yellow, and so it depends on your screen. On my Mac I couldn't see it at all. So I'm probably going to change that. And I moved around the bottoms here at the bottom, and I added then an auto adjust for the incoming signal that the threshold uses, because I used to have this sidechain gain, which I kept that in the plugin, but this is just quicker, so you get the signal into the ballpark where you want it to be, so it's quicker to dial in. And that's pretty much it. Otherwise, it's like the previous version. So if you already know this plugin, go and download it. If you don't know this plugin, I'm gonna show you how to use this plugin. And today we are using a techno track that is recorded live, and I got it a bit too overcompressed, so we need to address that because the level jumps up in the breaks. So we're gonna have a listen to that. So we're bypassing this. It actually doesn't do anything, so it could keep it on, but we bypass it just for sakes. Here we go. You can hear the level go up. It's probably 3 or 4 decibels of boost as the low end goes away. So this is way overcompressed. Pretty common, but boring and doesn't sound that good. So we're going to address that. Normally in this situation, you probably use the low end. So we're going to set the sidechain to listen to the low end. And I usually just use my eyes, but I'm going to press the sidechain so we can hear what we do. So we're using the mid, and we're going to dial in the low end. So I'm going to play a little bit here. And as I so often do, it's bypassed. So we're going to activate it. Okay, here we go again. We're going to use that rumble for the sidechain. All right, so I declick this so we hear the stereo signal again. Right now the plugin doesn't do anything, but we can see, we can see all the controls, the threshold and stuff. So we're gonna dial in the threshold. And that's the auto adjust. So I just play the most intense part of the signal, hit that, and boom, you have it dialed in. All right, let's see what happens when we come to that part where the low end goes away. Okay, so when the low end goes away, the signal goes below the threshold, and we're gonna set a new gain for that part. So we're gonna attenuate that part by 6 decibels. So let's see how this sounds. As you could hear, I didn't hit the exact spot, and that I did that on purpose. That's because I set the threshold too low. I want the threshold to be as close to where it is when it's above, because I want it to react as fast as possible when the signal goes below. So I'm gonna dial that in. This is the hard part, because I don't want it to move in the intense parts. I don't want a gain change in the intense part. I just want the gain change in the break. So if we hit delta and play a little bit. All right, so we can hear that it's almost gone. When the plugin doesn't do anything when the signal is above the threshold, and that is the way we want it. And why you hear it in delta when the low end goes away, that's because I attenuated the signal by 6 decibels. So what you're hearing is a 6 decibels difference between the processed signal and the unprocessed signal. So that's how you can use delta in this plugin. But as you can hear, the plugin reacted too slow, and that's natural because we have set a release time of the signal that we're listening to 2.5 seconds. So it's pretty slow, it's moving slow. So we need to in some way address this, and we're going to do it with a look ahead. Let's dive this into, we're going to set a pretty high look ahead. I think 330 milliseconds. I'm just guessing, but let's see if we hit that. And with this setting, we're looking into the future. So the plugin knows when, okay, now the level I need to adjust the level in 200 milliseconds. So it can work ahead of the signal. See how that works? Still slow. I'm gonna change this setting to 50 milliseconds. This is the time it takes for the signal to go from above to below. I also gonna change the curve so that we move a bit quicker when the signal starts to go from the above to below and slows down after a while. Actually, we need more. Let's say add 100. That's better, but I want more. 480. All right. This works when the signal goes from above to below, but when we going from below to up, you can hear that it doesn't hit the mark. You can also see on the meter that it raises the level way too fast. So we're gonna address that by adding a time here. Let's say 200 milliseconds for the signal goes to go from below to above. Even more, 400. Oh, sorry. And we have a little dip there as well when it starts, so we're gonna address that as well. And I think we may have to change to RMS mode because we're using peak right now. So let's try the RMS mode just to see if that works better. That worked better there. Let's see how it works when the signal goes from above to below. All right, let's add a little bit more of delay to the down. Change the curve. Add a little bit more. That is acceptable. So now we have a level control that works for all the breaks where the low end goes away, and another level control for the signal when it's above. So we can also do the opposite, so we can attenuate the signal when the low end is present and don't do anything when the break comes. See how that sounds just for fun. If this was a real master, I would have adjusted the settings a little bit more. I probably would make the automation, or what you should call it, even tighter, so it's really exact. But overall, this works pretty nice. That is Aboh version 1.10, and yeah, have fun with it. I see you next week with something that I'm not sure what it will be yet, but I have a lot of things in the pipeline, so you get something. Have a good night. Bye bye.